For anybody who doesn't know Jo already, she's a marketing strategist and consultant, and she's also the host of the Responsible Marketing podcast.
Yep.
And I love the tagline for it, which is "Flying the flag for a more sustainable and kinder future for all."
Yep.
So, welcome, Jo. It's nice to have you here again.
Thank you.
This is your second time doing a little chat, but the first time with me.
Yeah.
And since you did the first Fireside chat, you're going to launch season 3 now of your podcast, aren't you?
Next week.
Next week.
Yeah, set your alarms, everyone, 6 o'clock next Tuesday.
I know, we saw that. It's like very specific. 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
I don't know why 6 a.m., but it feels good.
So you're on to 14 episodes you've got now.
Yep.
And can you tell us what it's been like then since you sort of thought about having the podcast, what your goals were, why you wanted to do it, and how it's evolved over time, and has your goals changed? Tell us the process.
Yeah, first of all, it kind of goes back probably a couple of years actually, where in my business I wanted to start talking about sustainability a bit more and how businesses can use that as partly marketing communications and building their brand presence and their brand reputation. And I had a mentor from Newcastle Business School, and I rang him one day and said, I need to have a chat with you because I'm so fed up with the world and my industry, as in marketing, that I think I might have to strap myself to a ship and protest because it's ridiculous. And he's like, I don't think that's going to go down well. So, which obviously it wouldn't have done with my husband anyway. And so instead, it's like, what other ways could you actually kind of like get your voice out there and start sharing your knowledge and also promote the sustainability and marketing side? So, I'm a marketeer, obviously, at heart, so I've got lots of different tools I could use. And the one I hadn't actually touched on was podcasting, which for me, and I've always done video and audio, because, you get, for me, it gets double whammy. So obviously people listening on their commute, everything else that we were talking about before, but also loads of people like to watch YouTube. I don't like being on camera, to be fair. Most people don't like being on camera. I've not met many people who love being on camera. But I think it's really important for people to see the guests that I've got on as well, because they're really amazing characters. And again, you can get that through the audio, but also sometimes seeing it is like really useful as well. Plus, it's a great marketing tool. You've got YouTube as well as all the podcast channels. So I started off really gently with myself because it's very new to it. And to be honest, my equipment hasn't really changed. So I'm attempting to record this Fireside chat today. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But this is like my get up, basically. I go with my phone, I've got 2 mics, and that is basically it. I'm very spit and sawdust, and I would love to have an amazing studio. I've seen what Ashley records hers. Oh my goodness, I have massive jealousy. Maybe one day, but I've got to talk about maybe making some money from it first, which would be useful. So my goals haven't really changed. It's still about kind of promoting sustainability and tying it into marketing, but it's also a platform for local businesses or Northeast businesses mainly, or that's what was the initial goal anyway, to get on board and promote themselves and explain what they're doing from a sustainable point of view and how they communicate that, or if they do or if they don't. And really that platform's the same, but I have been approached by other people from cold, which is really nice. I've had a couple of agencies from London call me. I've got 2 guests that are coming on the start of the next season who are cold entries to the podcast as well, which has been really, really amazing for me because I didn't think it would go that far, to be honest. So I was just saying to Peter before, I'm quite intimidated actually because there's lots of people here who have amazing podcasts, amazing setups, thousands of downloads. I'm not quite at 500 yet, but I'm getting there. But 500 out of 14 episodes, I think, is not too bad, right? So I have to like champion me.
You do have to.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise it was your phone you used because you set up. I thought it was a laptop.
Yeah.
It's really I've watched all your videos that are perfect from day one. You've nailed it.
Not perfect. Lots of outtakes. I think if anyone's watched any of the YouTube or the snippets that I put out, there was one in particular which was my second episode of season 1, and it was one of my very close friends actually. So I did pick off people that I knew already to start off with, so I was a bit more comfortable. And we've had something like 45 minutes of outtakes, so there's just giggling because it was just ridiculous, which is quite infectious to watch actually.
So then talking about that, well, the guests first of all. So you've said, like you've answered my question, that they approach you, but then you also approach ones, is it people you know, or is it people that you just come across? How do you
Yeah, a bit of both
them?
Really. So I started off with people that I knew because, again, to be a bit more kind to myself. So I knew them, I knew I'd had a good conversation. I knew what businesses they ran. I knew there'd be elements to rope in with regards to sustainability as well. So it wasn't a really difficult find for me, and it wasn't a difficult conversation. Now I do a bit more research for somebody I don't know. Paul Lancaster was probably my first one who I didn't know very well,
Really?
and I was really nervous about interviewing him, but he was amazing. Like, he's an amazing guy, right? So we talked loads about community and also responsibility and things as well. So I tend to do quite a bit of research about what the business is about, what the people do, and really if they have values that kind of link in with responsibility, because obviously that's interesting to tie in from my point of view, but also if they don't, that's also for me a talking point. And a lot of businesses I speak to, they don't communicate about it publicly.
Right.
So for me, that's like kind of like trying to not persuade people, but explain to people why it's really important to be able to do that with confidence and clarity as well.
Okay. And so when you've gotten your guests and they've said yes, what's the process? How do you welcome them in and get them ready to record? Because like you said, not everybody is comfortable with it. So what do you do to make them feel comfortable?
Yeah, well, I try and pick venues that they're comfortable with as well. So some people, it's been in their kitchens,
Yes.
so their houses, their homes, their offices. Sometimes it's my sofa. Barry had the pleasure of my sister-in-law's dog as well on the sofa with us when we recorded the other week, wasn't it? So, you know, again, I want people to be relaxed. So as far as I'm concerned, the venue needs to be relaxed as well. So although I'd love a studio again, it would have to be like super comfy and not intimidating, I think, because I want to get the best out of people. I want it to be really relaxed. You know, I want to be relaxed. I want them to be relaxed as well.
How did you find that? Because you've recorded in so many places, including a farm at one point. So how would you find that? Do you like the challenge of it being in different places, sound quality and all that, or would you prefer it in a specific place?
Well, I'm trying to embrace the whole thing. That it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, I want these people to be real. I want it to be real conversation with real people. I know it sounds a bit chintzy, but you know, that's what I want it to be. So sometimes the sound quality isn't great, but you know, I've listened to some really professional, what I would consider professional podcasts, and they're not great either. So I'm a bit like, well, you know, I do have to, I think there's one where I think I put a bit of apology saying the sound's not great, and it isn't great, but that is kind of like, that's real life. So I'm trying not to concentrate on that too much because it's never going to be absolutely perfect.
No, I've listened to all your episodes, Joe, and you're doing what you can with what you've got because you're in offices that, you know, that have got the walls, there's no sound deadening in there, so
no,
I think you're doing a great job.
Through as we were recording, I felt like, oh, maybe I should edit that out. I think I did actually say, oh, I think that'll get edited out, and then I forgot to edit it out anyway, so it went through. It's funny.
We'll talk about editing. What do you edit out? Are you really brutal? Do you keep it just valuable, or how do you decide what you're keeping and what you're not?
I'm probably a bit slack on that actually, because my intention originally was to have episodes that were about 35, 40 minutes, and a lot of my episodes are definitely an hour, and I can't stop people talking, and I'm just as bad, to be fair. So I edit out mostly me. If I fluff a line or I've got too many ums or so's, I say so many times. Oh, there you go, like twice in like half a sentence. So I sometimes edit me out because I sound a bit like weird, or I've said something like really odd or just disjointed. But normally my guests are just so fluid anyway that they don't need any editing at all. And also, again, it's natural conversation, so I don't want it to be too stilted or too perfect. So lots of ums stay in, lots of thinking time maybe stays in as long as it's not too long. So if there's a pause for someone to answer, then I think that fair enough, leave it in.
That one I watched, I can't remember who it was, but you didn't read your quick, because you send them questions, don't you?
Yeah, I send a little brief out.
And he didn't
and
read it.
Oh, that's caught me off
and he
my
was
heart.
like, oh, and there was silence.
Yeah.
That was
if you're not
funny.
going to speak, then I'll jump
fine.
in.
So how do you incorporate AI, or do you incorporate AI, not just in your business, but with a podcast? What do you use?
Okay, so I have a bit of an admission to make. I'm not a massive embracer of AI yet. I'm getting there slowly. I don't use anything for the podcast particularly because I guess I use Buzzsprout, which does do a transcript for you if you want it to, so I can transcript from there, or YouTube will transcribe it as well. So that's kind of, I guess, as AI as I get for the podcast. I like to do my own research. I like to do my own questions, and the questions are normally a pretty much a theme through them anyway. So it's just making sure that it's tweaked to that individual or that individual business. But I know, certainly talking about TikTok, and Barry to AI at me quite a lot because I know I should be doing it. So therefore I will be doing more of it. I just need to embrace the bits that I'm going to enjoy as opposed to the bits that I'm just a bit like, really? Okay.
I like what you said about AI. You said it's not, you've not embraced it as a companion, isn't it? It sits beside you.
Yeah, we're
I like
that. On the sofa, but quite far apart at the moment. We're not cuddling yet, so we'll see what happens.
I love that. And you probably noticed this logo in the background. That's the animation.
It's amazing.
So,
even though I it myself.
Do you want to talk us through it? And who did this? Because you said obviously you didn't do it yourself.
Yeah, sadly I didn't do it myself. Well, clearly I didn't do it myself. I'm not a graphic designer or anything like that. Yeah, there's a guy I know called Neil McNally who runs Neil McNally Design. If you're interested, he's an amazing animator. And I basically gave him the loosest brief and just said, I want this, I want that. I wanted to reflect my brand, but I also want obviously some green in there to understand responsibility and sustainability. And this was almost, I think this is the second option he gave me. It was pretty much done and dusted. It was amazing. And yeah, that's it. So all credit to him.
It's really,
I take no credit for that.
I love it. And even the O's, they match up with the Joe. It's just, it's really clever, Joe. I liked it.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, so nothing's perfect. There's always problems. So can you tell us about a time when you've had a problem, an issue, recording, editing, whatever, and it's gone wrong, and what you've done to resolve it?
Well, there are a couple. So I didn't realise, first of all, when you record in 4K on your phone, it's a massive file. So now I have to transfer it to my laptop, and my laptop's quite old. It's a Mac, and it's quite old. It's probably about 7 years old. And it's like, I don't know, going back in time, it's like me going, come on. So it took me like a day for it to transfer, so I don't record in 4K anymore, so there's a learning. And then I also discovered that when you delete the files off your laptop, if you haven't finished editing, it deletes everything. Yeah. Which is quite awkward, right? You literally deleted it all. So then you have to go back and re-record it, which is awkward.
No.
And then I'll give you 3 because you know the other one. Because I messaged you in a panic going, oh my goodness, what do I do? So there's a reason why at the end of season 2, there's the last episode is me talking, because I'd recorded 2 amazing episodes, which are coming in season 3 now. But I'd also forgot to hit record. So one, I forgot to hit record completely, and I thought I was recording. The other one just didn't record. I'm just clearly a bit of a technophobe on stuff like that. They were both online. Luckily, they were both very kind enough to say they would re-record again, but I felt an absolute idiot. But, thankfully Dawn said, oh, we've all done it, it's fine.
Yeah,
so, have we?
I've done it. Yes.
So I'm really, it's all learning, right? So I know exactly, make sure it says recording started if I'm going on screen, and make sure I check my phone more than once before I start recording or start actually doing the podcast.
Yeah, no, that was good. But you see, you got there. You had there was always a resolution.
They're really nice, aren't they? When you say, I'm really sorry I didn't record, I'm so sorry. They're like, oh, it's okay, it's fine.
I know they are. I know.
So far, anyway. So.
What do you use for editing? I was going to ask you. What tools do you use?
Yeah, so I use DaVinci Resolve, the free version of it. It was recommended by Izzy and Chris from Hal Media. So this is my go-to if I have any issues with that as well. But I just find it dead easy. But I mean, literally mine, like I said, I don't do a lot of editing anyway. I don't do lots of wows and pows in there. I have my animation that I pull in. My recording goes in there, my outro goes in there. I record an intro each time, which is on my phone again and transferred up. And that is pretty much
really
it.
good.
So it's like dead easy. There's
and it's little lavaliers you use as well, don't you?
Yeah, well these I'm just trying these out today to see if it actually will work.
Oh, great.
Because they'll be better
Try on
than
me.
Like wild ones, but we'll see. Yeah, I know, you're the guinea pig, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to give you this question, which is a question you asked somebody on your podcast, on your episode. Okay. So if there's one thing that an organisation can do to become more responsible, you said operational, communication, marketing, etc. What one thing do you think they should or could be doing?
It's a nightmare being stung by your own questions, isn't it? Oh my goodness.
Sorry, Joe.
No, it's fine, it's fine. I'd say the same every time, to be honest. Just start small. There is so much going on in any size of business that's already really good on sustainability or responsibility, whether that's community, whether it's workplace, whether it's philanthropic behaviour, whether it's environmental, whatever it might be that's going on that people can talk about. So it's about finding those things that you're already doing and finding a way to communicate that within your marketing and just making sure you've got evidence behind it, because if you've got evidence behind it, no one can accuse you of greenwashing or social washing or whatever. And the UN Sustainable Development Goals are a great way to look at to start with. So they've got 17 goals on there that you can look at. There's all sorts behind them as well, so not just what they say. So when it says no poverty, you might think as a business, well, it's fine, I'm not involved in that kind of area, but actually those goes behind, maybe it's fair wages, or maybe it's the benefits you give your employees to make sure that they can feed their children at night, or care for their families, or whatever that might be. So yeah, so that's what I would say. There's loads of stories of businesses. You just have to have a look at them and be really open and proud of what people are doing. Lots more of opportunities as well. There's no bad stories, it's all good stories.
Yeah, good. Okay, see. Okay, last question. As a marketing expert, do you have top tips of how podcasters can best promote their podcast? And how do you promote your podcast?
Well, I'm going to be doing it differently after today. Because Joe was saying about just doing a little like audio snippet. Yeah, don't look at my LinkedIn from yesterday, please, or any time before that. Yeah, and also Barry, I can see Barry's eyes at me, like TikTok. He's told me 1,000 times. Yeah, TikTok clearly is an amazing platform to be on. I'm of a generation where it doesn't. I'm not addicted to it by any means, but I hope to become one day perhaps slightly addicted to it. Basically, it's communicating whatever platforms you're going to use for your business, because that's where your audience is, so making sure it's appropriate for your audience. So mostly mine is LinkedIn. I'm a bit hit and miss on TikTok. Again, Barry, stop looking at me like that.
Barry, don't avert your eyes.
Send you out. No. I know it should work, and I know it will work when I actually get my act together and do it properly. And using Opus Clip, I've used it before. It's like super amazing. But then I get so much content, a bit like, oh my goodness, this is like, what am I doing with all this stuff? And that's not what my natural business is. My natural business is doing face-to-face in-business marketing strategy. So it's not promoting me or my business. So again, don't look at my own marketing, because I'm probably the typical marketeer where I work lots for everyone else and do very little for my own brand, which is totally wrong. So yeah, it's finding those platforms that are going to work. And the podcast especially, I think just get tips from people who are already experts in it. So Ashley's an amazing resource to tap into if you can do. Rob's got amazing traction on his. It's been incredible what he's done, but also amazing theme. Barry's is also incredible. And how many episodes did you say you've done? 60? 50. Oh, only 50. God. Yeah, you know, people that are churning it out, they learn much quicker. I've only got 14 episodes out. I've learned masses. Those people, Anna was saying before as well, that, you know, she learns all the time. I've learned all the time. Every single episode I do, I learn something new, whether it's tech related or whether it's just how you approach people. So yeah, I do use questions as a brief, and I normally send them out so the individual knows that what I'm going to roughly talk about, but very rarely do I actually stick to it verbatim, because it needs to be a conversation. But, you know, pick the people you want to share, pick the people that are appropriate for what you're trying to engage with and what your purpose is for the podcast, and then, yeah, get it out there.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
So
yeah, sorry, Nike, stole that one.
So if anybody wants to listen to your podcast, what episode would you recommend to start with?
All of them. just subscribe and listen to them all in one go. I don't know, that's really hard, because that means it's like picking a child.
I know.
Clearly there's one to come out with Barry. It's not edited yet, actually, so I can't promote it quite yet. Honestly, just pick whatever you think. There are all sorts of people from different industries in there, so I think the one with Alison, T-Style Cheesemaker, is always going to be my favourite, because I had the most fun, probably. Yeah. Sorry to everyone else doing it. But having said that, I don't know, Paul's they're all amazing.
They are. They're all
and
different.
I think also, because the first season is very much Northeast based, if you want to stretch out of the Northeast, season 2 has a few, and season 3 has more from outside of the Northeast, which I'm also quite proud of.
Yeah.
So
they're all really good.
My favourite child. That's really mean.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's all right. But yeah, it's on all the podcast audio channels, and obviously on YouTube as well. Just search for the podcast.
Yeah. And that's you.
That
was you. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you.
It's
been good. Enjoyed that.
Interviewing me.
That's welcome. I know. No, I don't think so.
No one will be back interviewing. Yeah. Thank you.